Don't touch that dial. Coming up next is Indy News number 93. It's an all Dark Horse IDW update. In it, we've got stories on Dark Horse's next Star Wars adaptation, or next series of miniseries. We've also got the return of a Burly Man comic favorite that everybody's been talking to me about for a long time now. Also on the IDW side, Infestation 2. We've got a big story on Parker novels that Darwin Cook is doing. We've also got the return of those horrible, horrible Martians who want to eat your brain. Duel is coming to comic form, and a whole lot more. All that right after this.
When Indie Comic News calls, Bone Comic Book Man come running. I mean, if they could run, they would.
The accumulated knowledge of the sequential art generation. Independent Comic Book News, episode 93, Earwax Museum Mix-Up.
Hey folks, Comic Book Man here. Welcome once again to my video outhouse. It's time for
Indy News!
Indy News! And Indy News is coming to you from this place right here. Alternate Reality, which is located at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie in beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood. Alternate Reality are all new comics, including all my indie comics, including all my Dark Horse comics and IDW comics, which is the crux of this Indy News. The crux, right here, the crux. Are always 15% off every day for everyone.
Indy Capital.
Bo,
Yes.
Answer a question for me.
Yes?
Whatever happened to Shaolin Cowboy? A lot of people have asked me about that over the years. That and that Frankenstein thing that they did. What company was it that did that?
Burly Man Entertainment.
Burly Man Entertainment.
Which is actually run by the Wachowski brothers.
That's right.
Well, now the Wachowski brother and sister, because it's one of them had a sex change.
Well, okay, the Wachowskis.
Right.
Is she
Larry and Indy. No, she's not hot. I saw a picture. It's really disgusting.
And I bet he sounds sort of like Sarah does today.
Well, the one thing about them is they don't talk, so it's hard to tell.
But a lot of people have asked me about the Burly Man books, Doc Frankenstein, and Shaolin Cowboy. And you're going to tell us where Shaolin Cowboy is.
Jeff Darrow's Shaolin Cowboy will be coming back
Darrow.
to Dark Horse in 2012.
Woo!
Darrow's been off doing special projects, and I think he's been doing a lot of work in film and stuff, but production design.
Okay.
But he said, I want to go back and do a couple comics, because that's what I'm known for. And he's also been doing a bunch of covers too.
Okay.
But he said, I'm going to do a Shaolin comic book. I don't know if it's going to be I doubt if it's going to be a regular series. It's probably going to be a limited series. And it'll probably pop up first in Dark Horse Presents, because that's when Dark Horse likes to introduce a lot of stuff.
Yeah, Dark Horse Presents is where they try out a lot of that stuff. I would assume it'll show up there. One of the reasons they do that is to juice up the numbers on Dark Horse Presents to get people to buy the damn book.
Right. I mean, like I said, if you're a big Hellboy fan, I think the next 5 issues got a Hellboy story in it. So if you want to get Hellboy stuff, you got to pick it up there.
You got to pick it up there. Okay. Also at Dark Horse, their big franchises, of course, Star Wars, and they have yet more Star Wars stuff coming your way.
John Ostrander and John Duursema are getting back together. They're going to do another limited series called Star Wars Dawn of the Jedi. It'll start in February. Now, this limited series will answer questions concerning the birth of the Jedi Order.
Yeah.
And show all the events involving and surrounding the Force War.
Is this stuff that's then been Lucasfilm certified?
This is, yeah, well, everything that they do is Lucasfilm certified.
I mean, George doesn't have a problem with them talking about the origins.
George approves anything that they do.
Do whatever the hell you want. It's not like I'm doing any more movies.
Was it a cesarean birth?
All of it. Yes, so
come out all bloody and squealing?
Any questions you had floating around that you didn't know, Lucas's attitude is, I'm not doing any more movies, so if you guys want to do it in the comics, go right ahead.
Okay, there you go.
That's quite an attitude.
Meanwhile, over at IDW, they have become the kings of adaptations. They have most
adaptations didn't exist, IDW wouldn't exist.
Most of the stuff that they do is adaptation related in one way, shape, or form or another. And of course, they have this Infestation storyline, which they did last year, which brought 4 of the adaptations together. If you have success, what do you do? Success breeds more success, and so you have Infestation
2.
Dose.
Now, the Infestation 2 event will be set up in bookends. One will be written by Birds of Prey's Dwayne Suzersky and Star Trek's David Messina. That'll set the whole thing up. The crossover this time around.
They're doing this up just like the last series. The main series is going to be all of 2 issues, and then it's going to go out into the other books. Yeah. And so, first issue of Infestation 2, you buy, then you buy all the crossovers, and then you buy the second issue, which is actually the last issue, which brings it all together.
Now, the big crossover will involve H.P. Lovecraft's stories. And so if you're a fan of Lovecraft stuff, Shalulu and all that stuff. If you're a fan of Lovecraft stuff, that's what you're going to buy. I always found that stuff boring as hell.
Well, who else will it involve?
It'll involve the Transformers. It'll involve Dungeons and Dragons. It'll involve Archibald and Batboy, who are in the Weird World News thing.
Oh, yeah, Batboy.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
G.I.
Joe. 30 Days of Night. And of all people, or peoples,
Voltron.
Danger Girl.
Danger Girls.
Because Danger Girls coming back from IDW later on next year.
There's a lot more groups thrown into this mix than in the first one. The first one you just had 4. This sounds like you've got 6 or 7.
Well, they said for the Chris Ryle, the guy who runs IDW, said for the first one they had to walk up to the people who had all these licenses and they had to talk them into it.
Yeah.
And then it sold. So then when they came back and said we're going to do another one, people looked at the sales of those and went, "Oh yeah, sure, go right ahead, cool."
Infestation was the first one was G.I. Joe, Ghostbusters, Star Trek, and Transformers.
Yeah. So
and CVO. Which is an
that was an IDW original series.
Well, that was what brought them all together.
Yeah. When CVO apparently their involvement in the thing is they end up opening up the Lovecraft dimension, and that's what sets up this follow up.
Okay.
And like I said, I always thought that stuff was boring as hell.
Now, none of the Stephen King stuff or the Joe Hill stuff is going to be involved in this version of Infestation.
No.
But that doesn't mean that IDW is ignoring the Stephen King or the Joe Hill universe.
Richard Matheson's 1971 short story Duel, remember that? That was Steven Spielberg's first TV
Dennis Weaver.
movie. Dennis Weaver being chased down by a killer truck driver.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be adapted again, because it's been adapted a couple of times. In fact, I think it was adapted in the 80s or 90s, somewhere else.
Comic adaptation?
Comic adaptation, but it was from a company that almost nobody had heard of, and it was only in a couple shops. Okay. But they're going to take that, and they're going to take another story, and they're going to do this thing called Road Rage starting in February. It's going to be 4 issues, because I guess Matheson did another story involving people being chased by vehicles and faceless people called Throttle. Okay. King and Hill aren't writing the book. They're just basically watching it. The book will basically be written by Chris Ryle, who's the editor-in-chief of IDW and writes a lot of their stuff. And it'll be drawn by the Capes, Nelson, and Daniel. But it'll involve people being chased down by cars and trucks.
Okay. Another property that nobody has seen for quite some time, which IDW is bringing back to
God
your consciousness.
Why?
To your consciousness.
Why?
Well, you know, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with this concept. You know, what you've got is a bad taste in your mouth from a movie that was made out of which most people still haven't got.
No. I never saw the movie because I thought the entire deal was stupid.
Okay. Well, what we're talking about is Mars Attacks, which was based. Mars Attacks was originally the famous top series of cards. Okay, which was adapted later into a comic book, which was also adapted later into a movie.
Really bad by Tim Burton.
By Tim Burton, which starred Jack Nicholson as President of the United States,
and Pierce Brosnan,
and a bunch of other folks who were basically picking up a check.
Oh, he was seriously picking up a check.
All of them seriously picking up a check. Anyway, IDW is bringing Mars Attacks back as a series.
Yeah, they're gonna make it. They're gonna not only they reprint the older stuff, which is from Topps at one point had their own comic company.
Yeah, Topps were the people that did Mars Attacks back when they had the comic company. They were originally the people that did. Remember the Dracula movie that?
What's his face? Francis Ford Coppola did. Yeah, they did that. But they're gonna reprint that stuff, and they're gonna do new stories based on Mars Attacks. For reasons not only to Topps to make extra cash.
Well, Topps are also people that brought us the X-Files comic originally, and I believe they had Vampirella for a while.
Yeah, Vampirella wandered over to the Topps universe.
I think Mignola actually drew the Dracula adaptation.
Yeah, actually, Mike Mignola did draw the Dracula. Because Mignola drew that because he worked with Coppola in production design of the movie, and he was big into Dracula. Yeah. But Topps is a company, I mean, actually, for what they did, it was actually a pretty good company.
Yeah. But Mars Attacks is coming back from IDW.
From IDW. No creative teams have been announced, but I'm assuming it'll be someone stellar.
Okay, and the last story we have is still at IDW. We're still at IDW, and it involves the Parker series of novels, which IDW is doing a wonderful job of mining out.
Yeah, Darwin Cook was going to do 4 Parker adaptations. Now he's doing 5. 5. He's currently right now finishing up the 3rd one. This is an adaptation of the story, The Score. And what a couple weeks ago, was it 2 weeks ago, they shipped the Martini edition of the first two.
I just sold that yesterday.
Which was like...
Somebody picked it up.
I picked the thing up when it came in. It weighed, what, 100 pounds?
Well, no.
It was huge!
No, you know what it is? It's an Absolute Edition. If you've ever picked up one of DC's Absolute Editions, that's essentially all it is. It's an Absolute Edition.
Yeah, it was the first...
And it's big and heavy and huge.
Yeah, it was the first 2 adaptations. It was the short story of The Man with the Getaway Face, and there's a whole bunch of extra stuff that Cook was working on. And this is the only thing that Darwin Cook is working on. This specifically is it.
Yeah.
Although there are rumors about something else, but we'll talk about that in another segment because the story to me comes off as total crap. But.
Okay. And we're saving total crap for our next broadcast, not this one, because we're done. We're finished.
This was only partial crap.
We've got no more crap to give you.
Total crap comes later.
I love the Parker books, though.
The partial crap is gone. We're finished with it. Next time up, we'll have total crap.
Our systems have been flushed.
But until that lucky day, you can go to the store's website and get all of his total crap indie news.
Crapola, baby!
That'll be the day.
And where's the store's website
Where can I
at? The
find
Queen
this
of
crap?
Crap knows where that is. Hello, Queen of Crap, come in.
I love that.
Hey, how much does a branding iron cost?
So, go to the store's website, check out all of his news. Until next time, this is Comic Book Man
And this is Bo.
saying bye.
Good night and goodbye.
The Video Outhouse is brought to you by some of the finest people willing to work for free. This is a list of some of them.